next up is going to be a design that, trust me, you can make it in a day, even in an afternoon, if you just stay focused and keep on going. I love this design because it's going to be using the potato chip block, which is 2.5 by 4.5. And what you need to do is take a low volume and marry it up with a high contrast background, and then also have two low contrast above it. So these will be sewn here and then joined there. Failing that, if you don't want to do all potato chip blocks, you can also use a 4.5-inch square on the upper, which I've done here. So once you assemble 36 of these, then you will join 6 across and 12 down. So let me take you through that. Giving you a progress report here. So I've got 4 rows attached. If I wasn't clear, each row is alternating. So you've got your 4.5-inch strip of background, and then you have your background and your darker high contrast row, and then the background, and then the 2 potato chips with the 2 different colorways. And I've done that in 3 groups. So here's another section, and then here is another section. So I'll go ahead and join these together. I haven't pressed this seam yet, which is why it looks a bit bumpy, but I will go and do that, and then I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, if you'll notice, I have all the rows stitched together. I am calling it 12 down and 6 across. And just to explain it, each row alternates between a row of the background and then the potato chips that are sewn together, the background, etc. Halfway down, I've got a mark with an arrow here to show this seam. So next what we're going to do is we're going to do a take on a video and pattern from Missouri Star Quilt Company, where they just use 5-inch squares. I've adapted this to do it as a 4-inch square, and it's going to be a really neat design, so trust me on this one. So what you will do is you'll actually take a ruler and draw a line from corner to corner all the way to this point here, and then you'll do the exact same thing going the other direction. So you'll be going corner to corner through each block. It's easier to do it by block than it is to do as one big long line, because that's when it gets out of proportion. You end up missing intersection. You do need to pay attention to where you're going. I do have a slight pucker here, but I'm not concerned because it's going to be cut here, and then this will end up being absorbed in my next sewing seam. So what we're going to do is, once you draw the line, you're going to sew a scant 1/8 of an inch on each side of the line, and that is what we're calling stay stitching. Because we're eventually going to be cutting this on the bias, that'll stop things from stretching. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this out. I'll give you a quick picture what it looks like. I'll stitch it, and then I'll join you right back here. Just showing you the line and how I've done it. I'm using a very fine pencil, and what you draw it in really doesn't matter because you're eventually going to be cutting on that mark. So I will now go do it the other way, and then I'll do the sewing and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I now have the lines on both directions, and I will stitch, as I said, 1/8 of an inch on either side. So that is going to be, if this is our line here, we want to stitch 1/8 inch on this side and 1/8 on this side. I would keep it the same stitch length as what you're piecing with, because if it's too big, it'll want to try and gather the fabric. And I thought I would just flip over the back and show you how, by pressing, how it's worked out to my advantage for nesting. I did use a starch pen to try and give me nice flat seams, and I made the choice not to press open so that it'd make my matching easier. So let me go ahead and do the stitching, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, I have both of the stitching lines done, and now what I will do is take a ruler, and I'm going to go from edge to edge in each one of the squares and cut on the line that I've drawn, making sure that I'm actually hitting where the corners intersect. So I'll go along and I'll do that on both sides. I do use a weight to hold down the fabric so that it doesn't shift on me. So I will go and do that, and then I'll show you the next part. It's very exciting. Hang in there. Okay, I hope you can hear this okay. I put this back up on my design wall, and you'll see that I've made the 2 corner to corner cuts. This is where the stay stitching is on both sides. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down here, and we're going to flip these other 2 around. So hold on while I do that. You are going to be looking at the back side of me, so I apologize for that. So see how I've moved that side down, and now I'm going to take these and twist them around the other way so that the stay stitching is facing out. We have one that goes like this. The stitching is here, and then this one, the stitching's here, and then it's going to go like this. So what we have now is a new pattern, and the format is now square opposed to being a vertical format. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will join these together, and then we'll join that. So I will go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the final reveal. Here's the second layout, which is probably what I'm going to do. Once they are sewn into position, all the lines that are alike will line up properly. So I will go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what comes next. So to join the 2 wedges together, I thought I would just show you quickly, again with the whole nesting. Because we have pressed them to the opposite sides, I will put a pin in wherever there's an intersection here. And then also make sure that none of these that are facing this way don't pop over when they're going through the sewing machine. And this edge is the biased edge, so you want to treat it with a little bit of extra care so that it does not stretch on you. So I'm going to go ahead and join these with a 1/4 inch seam. Then I will press it to one side, and then I'll join the larger piece together. So hang in there, we're almost done. So here it is sewn together. It measures about 34 by 34. I will be adding a border around it before I quilt this up, and then it'll go on for donation. You could also add some extra bands on the top and bottom to give it more depth if you wanted, so it's back to a vertical. You have to remember this started as 6 blocks across versus 12 blocks down, and now it is a perfectly square quilt. Hold on a second, I'll show you a test one I did that'll give you a slightly different pattern. And here's a slightly different variation. This one was done using 3 blocks across by 6 down. Each block measured 4.5 by 4.5. So I used a mixture of blocks and potato chips that were sewn together. Again, this is the same method as the larger one. It's just a slightly different format based on how many blocks across and down. This measures about 17 inches square. I thought it'd be really neat to put sashing around this and then do other blocks to make it a longer and wider quilt. So I'm going to put that on my to-do list and figure that one out. I also have another one where I changed up the pattern a little bit. If you want to hold on a sec, I'll go grab that as well. And here's another one where I just switched out with a variety of potato chip blocks to give it a totally different scrappy look. I kind of like this one as well. Again, if you added sashing and made many blocks, it would be a really beautiful quilt for someone. And then I have one more to show you, and then we'll wrap this up. And this last one is using 5-inch squares or charm packs. This is the original idea from the Missouri Quilt Shop pattern. It is a free pattern, by the way. So this was 6 across, 12 down, and it turns it into a square quilt that is on point. So this is about 38 inches without borders and without any binding. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun figuring it all out and bringing it together for you. So until next time, sew safely and sew with Debee. Have a great day and bye for now.